Hello everyone to an exciting video. This is round 6 of the Championnat de Paris, the Paris Championship chess tournament. And today we have an exciting video. Before we get started, do want to mention, because, I still have the little chestnut thing in the video you guys can see below. If any of you guys are interested in buying a chestnut product, which if you're not familiar, they're the electronic chessboards where you can play other people, you can play online with the actual chessboard. They've got tons of new products, and you'll always get a 2% higher discount using my code below than whatever you see on the website. So if you're looking at getting one, go ahead and use that discount code Wesley Plays Chess. Yes, that was my old channel name. And without further ado, let's get started. So my opponent was Hong Min. Probably am pronouncing that wrong. He's an 1899. Let's just call it 1900. And little kid. He was like adorable. I don't know how else to. He asked me if I had eaten, and I was like, nope. At least not since lunchtime. And I don't remember what he said after that. But really nice kid. And this is the highest rated opponent I have ever faced in a classical game. So let's get started. D4, knight f6, bishop f4, g6, e3, bishop g7. Now, I had looked up my opponent because you can do that, and not everyone you can find on the internet, but a lot of players you can, and you can find their games, at least like classical games. So I did it, and I found a bunch of his games. And that I'm aware of, I can't find my own games, like my Fide games. If someone knows my full name, then yeah, they can probably find some stuff. But even then, I'm not finding myself on ChessBase or what all the websites that give games. So I don't know if my opponents are able to prepare against me or not. But let's just say that I had prepared a little bit for my opponent. I knew generally what he might throw at me. I knew he would probably play knight f6. So keep that in mind. I am in theory here, and I had just gone over what I wanted to play. E6, sorry, d6, h3, castles, bishop e2. This is all pretty familiar to me. In particular, the d6 setup I'm pretty comfortable with. Less comfortable with d5, but anyways, castles. And then c6. And at this point, the timestamp is, I'm definitely up on time. So I'm at 54 minutes. Wait, this is from today. Hold on. Sorry, guys. I'm recording this a day after. Okay, so bishop f2, I had a minute and 32, an hour and 32 minutes. My opponent was down to a minute and 29, so he wasn't going super slow, but I was playing these moves basically instantly. And I was expecting c5 here. So this was the first move that kind of altered from what I had studied. I was expecting c5, which is, let's see here. Is it the best move? Is it even a move? Okay, well, I was expecting c5. He had played that a lot. He seemed to really like c5. And but then he hit me with e6. I took a little bit of time here and decided to play a4 because, well, I could just develop, but I was like, okay, he's probably going to get a decent queenside expansion here. Maybe he's preparing b5. He's probably looking to fiend counter the bishop. a4 just seems like it's never an awful move. It's rarely a terrible move, and it does stop b5 here. There's no crazy lead in development, so I went ahead and played a4. Okay, queen b6. I saw this move coming, and it took a pretty decent amount of time to think here, obviously, because I'm thinking, do I play something like queen c1, hold on to that pawn, or is that pawn poisoned? And it turns out, I believe, it is. Knight b to d2, if I remember, is the best move here. It took a while before playing this. And just to go into this really quick, guys, I actually haven't gone into this a whole lot, but yeah, this is actually a blunder. So queen takes b2 because I have, let's see here, knight c4. The queen only has 2 squares to go to here. So let's just take a look at queen b4. I was looking at rook a3 with rook b3 on the next move. Oh, that's not the... Wow, we just sack a pawn. Okay, what am I missing here? Knight e4. Huh? Ah. This doesn't work. Okay, because it drops a4. I thought maybe I could get a draw too. I was looking for like a perpetual. Let's see. Queen b4. Is there a perpetual? Queen a4, queen b... maybe there's a perpetual. And I was getting ready to do a perpetual against the 1900s, take a draw. So looks like this is not actually the move. It wants c3. If queen takes, rook c1. Queen is queen b4, rook b1. Now he can't. A5. Okay, so the queen would be trapped. I would not have thought to sack the c-pawn. Maybe I would have calculated and seen that, but he didn't take. So my opponent instead played rook e8. I decided to take the opportunity and jump the knight into c4. Just kind of thought, how bad can it be jumping this knight forward? It also adds some protection to e5. And obviously he's looking to play c5. This is a good move, but it looks like a5 was better. Kind of like, hey, take that pawn, or else like I'm going to be ruining your pawn structure. Got a little minority attack going on here. So, knight c4, queen c7. Okay, my monitor just stopped working for a second. Bishop h2. I'm just getting it out of the way of e5. Knight b6. So he's contesting that knight now. And this is where like I started playing less well. So I went for rook e1. Obviously, I'm fine if he takes my knight. I'll just bring my bishop out. And then bishop e6 was kind of surprising. And I played knight f back to d2. This is not the right move. Actually, I think the computer wants knight c back to d2. The computer never really wanted the knight here. Nevertheless, I went here, and then he goes bishop d5. I went bishop back to f1 to open up my rook. It still does as much as it does on the e2 square. Also, it opens up my queen. So at this point, takes. I take with a bishop here. Knight takes, and then b5. And I had calculated this all out and was kind of like, oh man, I think I misplayed this a little bit. I decided to just bring the knight back here instead of taking. I just didn't like this right away because he's probably going to play a5 next, and these are now connected pawns. I just opened up the c file. If I play c3, he can play b4, yada yada. So I decided to go back first, and then he hit me with e5. Which the computer actually doesn't like here. I thought that a stronger move might have actually been b4. I don't know. I was looking at b4, a couple other moves. So he goes e5. I maneuver my knight yet again. I'm doing... Don't play like me. This is not how you're supposed to play. But I just figured I really don't want to... I'm worried about the pawns over here being attacked with the queenside pawns, and I'd rather like takes and have this knight, you know, keeping an eye on those pawns, attacking them. So knight b3, and then knight back to d7. And this move looked kind of wrong to me. I couldn't exactly say why, other than it's a backward knight move. I think he could have taken, but okay. I decided to take here and relieve some of the tension. It does open up my rook, but also... So takes. My plan was actually rook a6, and this is a good move. D takes e5. Sorry. D takes e5 is the best move, but I thought this was okay. I really didn't want black to start those pawns rolling. So I lodged the rook in the position. Knight b6. Takes. Here, again, is where I started feeling like, okay, black's not winning, but what is going on with my monitor, man? Sorry guys, I've got a kitten on my lap. I've got my monitor that's being moody. Here I decided to go c3. I just really didn't like all the potential pressure he would have down the c file. And yes, I know he can bring the rook over, but I kind of wanted to bring the queen out somewhere else anyways. So rook a to d8 on the next move. Queen f3. Black is now better. Oh, let me switch the view. Sorry guys. Okay, that looks awful. I don't know why it does that, but... oh, sorry, that's the wrong one. This is the right one. Okay. All over the place. Queen f3. Black is now slightly better. Knight c4. Yep, this was kind of what I was worried about, losing these two pawns, and I figured I would have to just counterattack and win those two pawns, because I don't want to play against the 1900 where he's got a pass pawn on the queen side. Or two. So I had to figure this out, and I found rook c6, which is a mistake, but it's a mistake insofar as your opponent is able to take advantage of it and spot it. I thought it was a clever move. It definitely challenged my opponent, and I just realized that my camera is like not focusing. So literally nothing is going right here. But you know what, guys? I don't think seeing my face in crystal clear image is the most important thing here. We'll just keep filming. So rook c6, I thought was clever. It certainly challenged black, and the timestamp here was where I moved 24. So he had roughly 33 minutes, whereas I had no 32. We were actually pretty even on time here. He started playing quick and well, and I'm thinking, I don't want to get into time trouble against a 1900. This could look sharp. So queen d7, and I already had my eye on a couple tactics here. I was dreams, let's say. But this is still not easy. So I after rook c6, I was a little bit worried about this, just because if like I move the rook and he takes, I was like, well, do I want to double those pawns up? But he didn't play that, and I thought either way, if he plays that, I get to jump my knight in. He goes for queen d7, which still lets me play knight c5. Knight c5 is the best move, and now all of a sudden, I've got some counterplay. I'm not Black is still better, but I've got some counterplay. Like I've got a really cool knight in the position. I'm a pretty tactical player. I don't know. I'm also positional, but there's some positions where I just really suck, and some tactical positions where I like it. So I was happy with this, but queen d2, and now it's like, okay, this looks scary. I'm gonna have to counterattack and find some tactics if I want a chance here. I just played rook f1 just to. It's the only good move here, by the way. Tie everything down, not get my king. I don't want problems with my king. Like he's got the doubled rook and queen on the d file. I don't want to mess around. So rook f1. I do have other pieces that can join an attack, counterattack. And then e4. So black is winning. And then e4. And he blunders. To me, this is just a flat out blunder. It says it's an inaccuracy. It's just a blunder to me. That was just a free pawn. Not only was it a free pawn, I wanted to bring my knight here anyways, but I just got to do it while taking a pawn. So knight takes e4, great move, meaning it's the only good move that keeps the advantage for white. Queen takes b2, and now black is seriously in trouble. If you guys want to take a second and look at the position and find the tactic, let me know. There's lots of juicy stuff here. All right, so maybe you pause the video, I don't know, but we'll jump right into it. Knight f3, knight f6 check forces the bishop to either take it or he loses a rook. So he takes with the bishop, I take with the queen, and we're starting to see some dark square weaknesses here, and I have a dark square bishop. Okay, I can't bring it out here just yet, but I could maybe think about bringing it to f4. I had been calculating all this through. Let's see, knight d2. I can't remember if I expected this move or not, but all I knew is that it doesn't really matter. As long as I'm not getting checkmated, my attack is stronger. So you guys, again, can pause the video if you'd like to. There's a lot of tactics going on here, and this is the kind of stuff I love. We're down into not a time crunch, but like time is getting pretty low too, within 25 minutes ish. Rook c7. Oh, that's funny because it called it a brilliant move. I swear to God, guys, it was calling this a... Wait a second. Hold on. Is it like... Is this a different analysis? Did I miss? No, it's... What? Are you guys seeing this? Are you guys seeing this? Okay, it's a brilliant move. Now when I go to the analysis... Okay. I'm so confused. Takes... All right, well, it just said it was a mistake a second ago. I'm not sure what's happening there. I found rook c7. Threatening mate, and obviously if he takes with the knight, then just checkmate. He can't defend with the rooks. If he were to block here, I just take it. If he blocks here, I just take it. So rook c7 just seemed like the best move, even though this was very tempting. Rook c7 first, and then he plays queen a2, and I kind of overlooked this move. I did see that he could play queen b3, that he could defend against this, but I thought it doesn't matter because I still have bishop e5. Now I'm threatening mate in a couple different ways. Bishop c5, rook takes, queen takes d8 check first. I calculated this all through. I was super happy, super nervous. King g7, and then at the end of it all, queen d4, pinning the rook. one last move that my opponent played that I didn't quite see and I should have, but you know, what can you do? Queen d5. And here I'm like, okay, I'm winning. I'm up material, but I am playing a stronger opponent. How can I really make this as easy as possible? Obviously, if I take the queen, rook takes, and it's knight and rook versus rook and rook. My rook's being attacked. I thought, yeah, okay, well I can go here and I'm winning these pawns by force as far as I can tell. Best move here is rook d8, but then yeah, even here takes. Now I'm threatening. He has to do something about this. So rook f8. So this is still like obviously winning, right? This is looks like a pretty easy win, but I wanted to find the best move, and I did. I took some time to think, and played rook d1, and it's kind of a scary move. My queen is defended, obviously. He can give a check here, but like let's just say, for example, check here, takes, takes. This is still the thing is at all these in all these lines, the rook is hanging with check, so it's too slow. And this is the best move. Why? Because if he takes the queen, then I take back this way, and he's losing a piece. So instead of just winning material and having being up in exchange, I'm a full piece up in this line. If he were to, let's see here, do anything else, let's see, there's a5, there's all sorts of stuff, but either way, if he does nothing, then yeah, I'm taking either the knight or the queen. Play this, and then my opponent resigned. He took a while to calculate and think. Pause the clock. Put out his hand. I shook his hand. Very young, very nice kid. Very nice. He smiled at me later today, actually. So I'm making this video a day later. Walked by and smiled. Nice little kid. And definitely a strong opponent. I think that he just made a couple bad moves, and I happened to play particularly well. I also happened to be playing an opening that I am more confident in. So that is my highest win to date by far. This is the highest rated opponent I've ever played. As far as I remember, I've never played, I mean, he's 1 point short of 1900, and I've never played a 1900, and I happened to win. So the highest rated win I've ever gotten. I was super happy with this. Of course, it's not over. There's still lots of work to do, but it is really encouraging, you know, because 1900 is, you know, that's basically a 1900 could be playing in the open A section, and beating someone who is basically that good, you know, tells me that I'm almost not super far away from being able to compete with people that are at that level. I mean, I say that, but at the same time, like, no, I think I would need to score like a good solid, at least 4 or 5 out of 9, like a 5 out of 9 in the open B section to really feel like, okay, I'm starting to get ahead here. So that's all I have for you guys. There are 2 more days left. Wait, no, 3 more rounds left of the tournament, and I'll be posting those, so stay tuned. And then after that, I guess it's, yeah, I'll probably go back to the Journey to 2000 on chess.com and grind that out. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, like and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next video.